Hello and welcome to Diecast Restos. I'm Jason and this is a Majorette number 229 Datsun 260Z or Z depending on where you're from, which I'm going to be restoring for you today. Of the variety of colours these models came in during their original run between 1976 and 1984, this black-bodied car with trio of Datsun logo decals is my favourite. Not that there's much of the original paint left, let alone the stickers. Over the years, I've had numerous Majorette models, particularly metallic painted ones, where the paint has flaked away. It makes me wonder if they had issues with adhesion. As I set to work on this one, I'll do a whistle-stop tour of the model history and that of the real car. I worked on Matchbox's model of the same vehicle around 5 years ago in a custom build-off, so do go and check that out after this one. The last model to be numbered 229 in Majorette's Serie 200 was the F1 Ferrari, which left the range in 1974. The 260Z was added in 1976 in a very nice metallic sea green kind of colour. They had white plastic interiors which would last throughout all variations and a yellow tinted window piece. These can be found with 3 different styles of wheels. In 1978 they were painted a darker metallic blue. 1979 models were white with SOS Doctor decals affixed. These had either amber or light green tinted transparencies. The black model, like mine, with its Datsun emblems on the bonnet and doors, arrived in 1980. They could have green tinted transparencies or clear like this one. The colour changed to flat red for 1981, light metallic green for 1982, and for the final 1983 and 84 issues, it was yellow. These could have red decals on the hood, red and blue decals on the hood and sides, or no decals at all. It was dropped from Serie 200 for 1985, with the next model to adopt the 229 number actually a model that I've featured before on the channel, a BMW 325iE30 that I customised for my brother. The 260Z model was also made under licence by Globe Toys in Brazil and featured a white body with red side tampos and a red interior piece. The 260Z itself was effectively the second generation of Nissan's S30 Fairlady Z or Datsun 240Z, as it was named for export. The 240 had been launched in 1969 with its 2.4 litre straight 6. In the domestic market, the 2.4 litre engine was top line, with 2 litre inline 6s the more popular option. The 260 was offered to export markets in 1974 due to demand for greater performance. This was achieved by lengthening the stroke on the L engine. Power output on this new engine was 163 brake horsepower, compared to 153 of the 2.4. However, US emissions regulations meant a change in compression ratio, and with that went the power, down to 139 horsepower. There were a few US models that received the new mandatory 5 mph safety bumpers that did churn out full power halfway through the 1974 model year. But the 260 was quickly dropped in favour of the 2.8 litre 280Z for 1975. Elsewhere in the world continued to receive the 260. 5-speed manual gearboxes were available with a 3-speed auto an option. The Matchbox model of this made clear on the base it was a 2+2 version, and looking at this Majorette, it also appears to be a 2+2 due to the notch in the roofline. The 2 rear seats on the plastic interior are probably a bit of a giveaway too. These had a 300mm longer wheelbase than the 2-seat coupe, plus had larger opening rear quarter windows. The climate controls were upgraded over the ones found on the 240Z. It also had a redesigned dashboard, console, seat trim and door panels. Outside, the tail lights were updated, with the reverse lights moved from the main cluster to the back panel. The ride was stiffened due to the chassis rails being extended and enlarged. The 260, 280 and Fairlady Z were all in production until 1978, when the S30 platform was replaced by the new S130 model. The S30 platform was successful in motorsports during the 70s. It took the SCCA C production title in 1970 and 1971. One was also driven to victory in the 1973 Safari Rally by Kenyan rally driver Shekhar Mehta. The battered remains of this car can be seen at the Toyota Automobile Museum in Nagakuta in Japan. Anyway, I'm finalising this rapid restoration by reintroducing the base. This hooks over a tongue just beneath the tow hook at the rear, while the front post is secured with a screw. Here is how this Majorette 229 Datsun 260Z was looking when I started. It barely had any paint remaining, and very little of the original Datsun logo stickers too. With its open windows due to its opening doors, the interior and transparency had become a little grotty. They needed a clean up, while I also polished the base, though that wasn't in particularly bad shape. And here is how it now looks. I've returned this 45-year-old Majorette model to its original spec with a fresh glossy coat of black paint. The Datsun emblem stickers, or what remained of them, have been replaced by a set of waterslide decals and are now protected with a clear coat. I have refreshed the 3-spoke wheels using a coating of Citadel Gloss Nuln Oil and chrome paint replicating the foils. The interior has been washed and the windows and base polished in their own unique ways, meaning the Majorette is now looking factory fresh. Please drop the video a like if you enjoyed it and the result, and be sure to subscribe for more like this if you haven't already. Big thanks go to my band of merry YouTube members and Patreon pledgers. You can join them too if you'd like to help make more diecast projects possible. But all that leaves me to say is thanks for watching, and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.